I think like most people, I didn't intend to enter into financial services as a career. It happened by accident. And in my final year of high school, I happened to be placed in a credit union as my co-op placement. And the manager there saw something in me and really took me under her wing. She had me presenting to workers' compensation board offices all over Ontario when I was 18 years old, and hired me at the end of the co-op program and gave me a lot of opportunities for advancement. And from there, I went into bank management and the insurance industry, and then eventually, even an independent advisor for a short period, and then finally landing in the fee-based planning environment. In my mind, a fee-only, advice-only planner doesn't have any financial products for sale. And if I don't have any financial products for sale, then I'm able to give completely unbiased advice because I don't have any skin in the game. And so rather than having an approach where I have something that I'm trying to accomplish through a sale at the end and presenting my information in that manner, rather I'm presenting and educating people so that they can become empowered and make their own decisions. My favorite thing to do is teaching, and I think that that's really where my main strengths lie, and I treat this job as an opportunity to educate people one-on-one. So I love having the ability to educate people so that they can in turn make informed decisions. So I'm not telling them, do this, do this, do this. These are the various things that you may want to consider. This is how all of them work. Now, which one do you think is the best solution for you? And really talking through all of it and then helping them to implement that. We start off with the complimentary introductory Zoom meeting, and during that meeting, my goal really is to get to know the client a little bit and have them get to know me, and to get an understanding of what their goals are if they were to work with a planner. And once I have an understanding of their goals, I gather some high-level information, and then I follow up with a proposal. And normally that proposal will have a few different options for service. If they decide to proceed, we then gather documentation from them. We're then booking a meeting, and in many cases, before our actual meeting, we'll have a pre-meeting to sort of agree on different assumptions if we're creating, projection type planning, and just having a really solid meeting with the client. Out of that, I always create a to-do list, because the to-do list breaks down the action items into bite-sized pieces and makes it a lot less overwhelming for the client. And it also identifies who's responsible for doing what. And then the to-do list is really what I use perpetually with my clients moving forward, just constantly updating it, adding to it, taking away from it, and using it as a tool as we work beyond. Typically we contract for 1 year. At the end of the year, we reassess planning needs and see if we have needs for ongoing services at that point. I had rented my entire life, and I didn't realize that I was very afraid of owning a home. I have a history in my background where I had been evicted as a teen when I lost my mother. And that, for some reason, created a fear in me of ever owning anything that I didn't really recognize. And a few years ago, I ended up going through some therapy and recognizing that I had been standing in my own way. And with all the knowledge that I have and being somewhat of a conservative person myself, buying a home would have made sense a lot sooner, but I'm so happy that I really dug deep and figured out what the problem was. And that in turn has led me to really dig deep with clients, because I believe that our emotions drive so much of our financial behaviors, that's a really important element of planning. And that has also increased the bonds that I have with my clients when we have those conversations about their feelings around money. I have a really solid understanding of the expats' challenges that they face in investments, and sometimes they're presented with a lot of different financial products that may or may not be in their best interests. And over the years, I've really accumulated a lot of knowledge, and expats are able to work with me to really understand how, when they're in a foreign country, how can they invest their money safely, determining whether they're coming back to Canada or not, and doing sort of long-term planning for when they return to Canada. I do a lot of move consults if people are moving away or coming back. And so there's a lot of different work that can be done with expats, and there's a lot of complexities, especially when it comes to US and Canada, that really, really need to be looked closely at by a professional.